We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Welcome back to the Basketball Show. Paul Sir, Ryan Reed, joining you on this beautiful Saturday morning that is not minus 30. So everything is a plus from there. Speaking of a plus, I'd like to welcome in Edmonton's own 3x3 star, Katherine Plouffe, to the Basketball Show. Hi, Katherine.
Hey, Paul. How's it going? It is a beautiful day.
It is great. I hope you're going to be able to get out and enjoy it today.
I sure will.
Katherine, thanks so much for making time today. Why don't let's start? Let's go back to 2024. It was it was a challenging, phenomenal year, full of what I think is safe to say peaks and valleys. Talk about 2024 and what the year was like for you and what it meant to you.
Oh boy, that's a lot to sum up in just a little bit of time. But even while it was still 2024, I was feeling like so much happened in the year. It felt like 2 years of events and just monumental moments happened throughout not only the basketball season but the year itself. So there was definitely some peaks, some detours, I'd say.
That's a great way to put it. I like that.
Yeah. I think everything was happened how it was meant to. I believe God had a plan for me and in basketball for my team. And so, there's just some things that were unexpected in our journey, especially to the Olympics and in our Olympic, debut for 3x3 itself. But so much was worth it. There's some big losses. Even in our getting to the Olympics, like our first qualifying tournament was a big detour for us. Maybe physically, mentally, I think we were prepared to move on to the next qualifying tournament to get to the Olympics, which we did. And honestly, that was probably the highlight of the summer was just qualifying. And then not only that, but just being able to play in the Olympics, getting on the floor and just, competing at the highest level on the biggest stage in the world for this new sport was, probably the highlight of my basketball career.
That's really special. And I think, for people who were not able to watch your team play as you played in the not just the qualifiers, but the variety of women's series events around the world. I mean, it's an amazing schedule, isn't it, Katherine, that you have to play in in so many different places in different areas of the world in relatively short periods of time. But, when I think about your journey, because I think it was the expectation of people who know 3x3 was that Canada's going to qualify. You guys you've been the best team in the world for years now. And you get into what I think is it applies to all sport, but it's somewhat unique to 3x3 because the games are so short relative to other professional sports. Anything can happen in one game. Probably, if you ever had a poster play that exemplified anything can happen in any game, it would be the buzzer-beating, game-winning shot by Spain where the lady from Spain tipped it over her head, probably 8 feet away from the basket, back to the basket, over her head, and it went in to win the game. But what would impress me the most about this, Katherine, was the resolve and the focus and maturity of yourself and your teammates in spite of that kind of thing happening. And that wasn't the only heartbreak along the way. You guys never lost sight of what you wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, definitely. That was a quick turnaround. That was a semifinal game, and for context, if we won that game, we would be going to the Olympics, but we had to play an extra game as a very last chance to get into the Olympics.
That's right. And against the home team, right?
Against the home team, which was a fun game, and we definitely swept them. But the mindset, I think, is the most important thing that sport can ever teach you, is that you cannot control what happens in the past. And I'm very grateful that just throughout not only my sports journey, but people in life and in other parts of my life really speak into that mindset of like, you cannot change the past. And so every, thought of regret or worry that you spend emotionally thinking about what happened that you can't change is lost energy that you can be spent on the future. And when you're in situations like that, you need every bit of emotional energy that you could possibly have to focus, to bounce back, to actually accomplish the task that is next, because you need every bit of all that you have. So, yeah, totally a mindset shift.
Very well stated, Katherine. And I'm talking to Katherine Plouffe from Canada's 3x3 national team here on the Basketball Show. Katherine, okay, you're at the Olympics. One of the things that I don't think you can explain to people is until you actually witness 3x3, when people come to a women's series, you have pool play, so you're usually playing 3 games the first day, right? And then the next day is quarters, semis, and finals. In the Olympics, you were playing 1, maybe 2 games a day, but the difference was it's not a 2-day event, it's a 7-day event. Talk about the mental pressure along with the physical part of of how that was, because you really you had never played in an event like that before, had you?
No, that was the first of its kind, and it's a little bit odd. They're trying to change the format, but they're just kind of locked into situation right now. But it is very odd as a player, for sure, to just play one game when we're used to playing multiple in a day, and really moving on from a game quickly because we have another one to play right away. And so there's that mental aspect of it, but also physically. It was much different because even though we only had one game in a day, the physical energy that you use just being at an Olympic event, like you're walking around everywhere to do, go to the cafeteria, walking around the village is in itself, like you're putting in thousands of steps a day. And so that actually added to our physical load that we didn't expect.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so there was a lot of things that we, learned, and if someone's going back to an event like that, they definitely have some knowledge and experience of what actually the games are like. So
this will be tongue in cheek, but at least you had comfortable beds. They were terrible, weren't they? I mean, talk about that. As an athlete, were you shocked when you got to your room, or wasn't it that big of a deal?
It's quite a big deal when you're expected to perform and you want to perform your best, and sleep is such a big aspect of performance as an athlete, and anyone in general. Sleep is a big part of a good sleep is a big part of what you can do for the day. And so pretty disappointed in a host who gives high performing athletes cardboard beds and plastic mattresses. So I would hope they do better. I know this was, they had their reasons why, but I think no athlete would want to choose to sleep on a bed like that if they were trying to win a gold medal.
100%. So Katherine, let's talk about 2025. Are there any plans for Team Canada that you can share right now? Is it in a state of discussion? Do you have an idea of what the year is going to look like? What can you share with us at this point?
Yeah, well, as you know, Paul, it's always in fluctuation of what's actually happening for this season.
Right.
But we have most immediately upcoming is this Champions Cup happening in Thailand in a few weeks, actually.
Right.
So this is going to be the top teams of last season coming to play like a kickoff tournament, which will be a World Cup qualifier for next year's World Cup. So we have 8 teams. It is us, Spain, Germany, Thailand, Australia, Madagascar, 2 others that I can't remember right now.
Would the U.S. be part of that?
U.S. will not be, no.
Oh.
The winners of the Zone Cups, and since we beat them in the finals, they didn't qualify.
Right. Okay, very cool.
And Olympic winners, and yeah, I was, because I thought the World Cup winner would get in, but they are not, so U.S. will not be there.
So
that's, yeah, go ahead, Paul.
No, you've got that coming up. So how are you preparing for that, Katherine? And is the expectation that the band will be back together and it'll be yourself, your sister, Paige, and Casey? Or is that still up in the air?
No, our team is going to be myself, Paige, Casey, and Sasha Grant Allen.
Okay.
Going to that event. And after this event, the Women's Series tour is going to kick off beginning of May. So this is a pretty preseason. The timing is quite early.
Yes.
And so we don't know what the World Tour schedule actually looks like. The hope, too, is that we can get some more gals in the program to keep growing the pool of athletes who want to play 3x3, get ladies out getting reps playing 3x3, whether that's on the tour or hopefully some camps around Canada to just get players reps playing the game, because we have one team on the tour, but that's only 6 people in rotation there. So we would love to, I'll speak for myself, I'd love to just get more girls playing and teach them the game, teach them the style, the movement, and just pass on what I know for sure, so that we can have a strong program for years to come.
Well, I think that vision has to evolve in Canada. We're going to contribute to that in Edmonton with our 3x3 event, July 31st to August 3rd at West Edmonton Mall. This isn't a plug or anything, Katherine, but on July 31st and August 1st, I think we're going to be the only event in the world that will have both a men's and women's quest. So that will fulfill exactly what you talked about, is that will give teams, both genders, the opportunity to play 3x3 in an event that can help propel them into the basketball ecosystem. So that really is our goal with that. And you and I will talk offline about that further. And then, of course, we'll have the Women's Series and the World Tour as well here. So, and unfortunately, it looks like right now in Canada, we will be the only location for a Women's Series this year, because it looks like Saskatoon and Quebec City will not be hosting a World Series, unfortunately, this year.
Yeah.
So
very excited to have it back in Edmonton, nonetheless.
And we're going to put on a great show. So let's talk about what you're doing now to prepare. How are you getting ready for the upcoming event in Thailand?
Great question. Well, myself, I am here in Edmonton training with a group of guys who've been super helpful for myself. Also, training with Steve in the gym, mostly at Legacy. And, it's a lot of individual training right now for myself, getting back to game shape, which is hard to do when you're not playing games.
Oh, boy.
Getting as many reps with the guys as possible here. I know Casey, Paige, and Sasha were out in Asia getting some tournaments in, and we'll get back together on the court and just work to get some reps in to get the chemistry going. But I'm sure that'll come quickly because we can't. Yeah, we don't lose that so fast, but we'll need some reps together for sure.
100%. And I've got about 30 seconds. Talk about your upcoming camp.
Yeah, we're hosting a singers camp this coming or next Thursday, Friday at the EYBA Center, and it's all girls. It's an all-girls camp with me and Michelle are super excited to do. Just be in the community with girls ages 8 to 17. Will be super fun. We'll be doing some 3x3, of course, and doing some other skills. And the rest of the coaches, I believe, are going to be some gals from around Edmonton and area. Casey is also coming up to coach at the camp, which we're super excited about. And it's just going to be a fun time. Spots open still. So if you have daughters, nieces, granddaughters, sisters who want to come, you are more than welcome.
And how do people register? Through the Edmonton Stingers website?
Yep, it is on the Edmonton Stingers .ca website under All Girls Camp, and they can find more information there.
Well, Katherine, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. Best of luck with your upcoming preparations and, of course, for this first ever tournament overseas. And thank you mostly for what you, Michelle, and your team has done for elevating the sport of 3x3 and women's sports in our city, province, and country.
Thank you so much, Paul, and thank you for always being a great support for us.
Well, you are more than welcome. That's the easy part. And if you have a youngster in your life, a young female, please, you cannot make up a better camp opportunity than's being presented this upcoming Thursday and Friday with Katherine, Michelle, such a great team of coaches, sponsored by our CEBL Edmonton Stingers. Go to edmontonstingers.ca and register. The value will be tremendous. We're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we'll bring in the voice of the Pandas and the Golden Bears, Doug McLean. He'll be joining us, and we'll talk about youth sports, Canada West, and March Madness north of the border here on The Basketball Show.